Hi, everyone. For our project, we created My Healthy Pet. Our group members are Jan, Paula, and Michael. So what's My Healthy Pet? My Healthy Pet is a mobile phone app that enables pet owners to be more involved and active in their pet's health and lifestyle. My Healthy Pet consists of a database, an API, and the front-end React Native app. So why My Healthy Pet? We decided to create My Healthy Pet because there are currently very few to no apps like ours that are available on both Android and iPhone. There are also currently no apps that are geared towards all types of pets, in addition to dogs and cats. So this means we're reaching more people on more devices and more pets. My Healthy Pet has features that support pet needs such as eating habits, exercise habits, medication management, history of medical conditions, daily symptom tracking, daily pet notes, vaccination record management, and more.
So here we have a list of the external resources and technologies we used. The main one we wanted to focus on was React Native, as this allowed us to use one code base all rendered through JavaScript in order to be able to have an app on both iOS and Android without having to design two different apps. The other important thing we used was Axios for the actual connection to the database, as it allows wider browser support over the standard fetch requests. And I found the simplicity and response of the error handling is much simpler and a lot more elegant.
Architecture responsibilities. The architecture of our app is divided into three major components, which consist of the front end, the API, and the database. Since there are three of us, we decided to divide the work by assigning a team member to spearhead a section each. Michael handled the front end, Jan handled the API, and I handled the database. And even though we each had our own section to work on, we also participated in each other's sections and helped out whenever needed. So the front end is primarily used to display the UI and retrieve user information, as well as display the user information, and it communicates with the API. The API will send requests from the front end to the database and will create a secure connection for the user. And the database will retrieve the proper data from the API, store the user info, and then it also contains the procedures we need to handle our data properly. Okay. Timeline of implementation. This is the timeline that highlights the main points for the development of our app. We started with setting up our fundamentals, which consisted of establishing communication, drawing out our app idea, assigning roles, and designing the UI. We then started our research phase. This is where we research what we had to build in order to make our idea come to life. So we would research React Native and the elements needed for our database. After doing some research, we began building a test app. The test app has a similar architecture to that of our final app, meaning it was also made up of a front-end API and a database. We then, after the test app was completed, we started our reflection phase. We found out what does and doesn't work, and we strategized what changes needed to be done. Once we strategized what changes had to be done, we updated our plans and our timeline. We then took what we learned from our test app and started building our actual app. We created our new front-end, API, and database files. Since there was some changes that needed to be done, we began to research how to implement these new features. And after establishing the main features, we populated our database with test users and began testing our app and fixing any loose ends. And now we're starting our demo.
Okay, so now for the demo portion of the app, we have the app actually launch into the user login screen. And I'm going to log in with the user right now. And then this is the homepage of the user with their information, their account profile, and then all the different pet profiles they have. So we have 4 pets in here, and we're going to look at Bartholomew's information. So this is Bartholomew's profile with the age and everything in it. We have different sections for it. So for the general health of the pet, today's health, medications, that section would have medications that are going to be coming up today or medications that would have to be filled in the upcoming weeks or depending on how far out it is. The full pet summary is kind of just like an overview of how the pet's doing in general. And then vaccines are going to be vaccines the pet's received, any vaccines they're going to be upcoming as well that the pet's going to need to get as they expire. And then let's take a look at the full pet summary. So this is the pet summary. It has a bunch of information in it. The user is able to add about the pet, kind of like the characteristics of the pet, different medications they take every day, any special digestive restrictions that the pet needs, any appointments that the pet has at different vets, the medical history of the pets, and the preferred veterinarians of the actual animal. And that's pretty much it for the demo. So for the future plans, our future plans for My Healthy Pet include the ability to allow users to set alarms for various reasons, whether they be feeding, medication, or exercise times. We additionally wanted to also add more vaccines for all the different species of animals we have in the database as well. And we also wanted to enable the user to download a comprehensive pet summary and just kind of make overall improvements to the interface and the actual experience the end user has with the app.
Okay, so what we learned. Throughout the project, we faced several project challenges and we ended up making a handful of changes. The first challenge we faced was not being able to connect to our database from the front end app directly because we created and hosted our database on the school server. To solve this, we created an API in PHP on the school server that the client-sided app could connect with. And the API was then able to connect with the database since it was hosted on the school server. This led to an unplanned redistribution of responsibilities as one of our team members was now tasked with implementing this API. As a result, we needed to reallocate time and cut on some of our features, such as the alarms and the ability to download a pet summary PDF. But overall, we were pretty satisfied with what we were able to create.